Mujahideen ambushes. Scouts observe the slowly advancing convoys as a Mujahideen digs in prior to staging an ambush. The water will prevent rising dust, revealing the position of the recoilless rifle crew. Though very efficient at ambush tactics, lack of command coordination meant that too many of these attacks were less effective than they might have been. Soviets dug in at the edge of the village, lay down covering fire. Finally, the Mi-24 gunships come in to suppress the guerrillas. Around the notorious Sato Kandal Pass, rebels had constructed a formidable system of bases and sangars, rock-built weapons emplacements. They were positions which could have been held by a professional army against a much larger force. "18,000 mines were neutralized, and as Afghan and Soviet commandos flushed out Mujahideen caves, they made a rich haul of weapons, including hundreds of rocket-propelled grenades. But a question mark remained as to whether the Soviets could really operate in the area except in massive numbers. With artillery aligned, men dug in to prevent rebels again resuming the siege once the main force left. With the heights seized, the relief convoys ground on towards their objective. It was the 40th Army's last major action, catching the Soviet public's imagination and bestowing the status of hero of the Soviet Union on the man who achieved it. That man was Lieutenant General Boris Gromov, the man now charged with masterminding the Soviet withdrawal. The brightest, youngest member of the Soviet General Staff, he had proved himself a model Soviet soldier. His command of the relief of Khost, where he personally controlled operations, also proved him to be a major tactician in guerrilla warfare. The 66th Motor Rifle Brigade was the first to move, parading in Jalalabad for the first stage of withdrawal to Kabul. They washed their hands of it as a local conflict best left to Afghans to sort out for themselves. They had succeeded in preventing the conflict from becoming as costly and divisive as the United States intervention in Vietnam. But they did repeat many American experiences, winning most conventional military encounters, but failing to control the countryside. They were also pulled up sharply by two lessons of war. It's impossible to defeat a popular guerrilla army, even with modern firepower, and pacification fails under an unpopular government. Another Ilyushin IL-76 taxis to takeoff. These huge transporters were massive cogs in the continuous air bridge that brought food into Kabul and lifted troops out to the Soviet Union. Within 6 weeks, General Gromov could announce that 20,000 troops had been flown home. The constant threat of missile attack met by flares and a tightly turning flight path. These crews ran the gauntlet round the clock, but many of the troops they flew out left brand new equipment behind. The latest strike aircraft, as well as T-62 tanks and howitzers, boosted the Republic's firepower to the level the Soviets had enjoyed. This also meant that far fewer flights were needed to repatriate the last few thousand Soviet troops. The Soviets left an Afghan army whose elite troops exuded a confidence sharply contrasting their morale of 9 years earlier, when thousands had deserted. But they also left the dangerous job of clearing minefields. In the course of the war, the Soviets laid over 30 million mines. Most were in clearly defined minefields, and unlike the Argentinians who departed from the Falklands, the Soviets left appropriate maps behind. But designed to evade electronic detectors, mine hunters had to use old-fashioned probes. When found, the mines were detonated. Dawn on a February morning in 1989, a 40-mile convoy winds over the northern plains of Afghanistan as the final Soviet troops depart, 7,000 men and hundreds of vehicles. They cross the border along the Friendship Bridge over the Oxus River at Termez. In 9 years of war, nearly 14,000 of their comrades had been killed. But absence of victory had not left a regime that would immediately fall prey to an encircling army. Last of all was Lieutenant General Gromov. Having executed the Soviet withdrawal with the minimum of casualties, he was accorded the same adulation as the Soviets' first spaceman, Yuri Gagarin. In time, he would become a national figure.